The wind howled across the crumbling walls of the abandoned chapel as darkness settled over the forgotten village of Haver's End, a place that had long since vanished from maps and memory. Only a few dared to wander there, drawn by rumors of strange lights and the faint sound of bells tolling at midnight, even though no hand had touched them in years. Amelia Ward, a folklore researcher from the city, arrived one stormy evening, her boots sinking into the wet earth as she stared at the black spire rising above twisted trees. She had come seeking the truth about the offering, a legend that spoke of a ritual demanding the life of one who entered the chapel after dusk. Her grandmother had whispered about it before dying, her final words warning Amelia to stay away from the place where they still wait. Yet curiosity gnawed at her like a parasite. The chapel's door creaked open with a reluctant sigh as she pushed it, the scent of mold and ancient incense thick in the air. Candle stubs littered the altar, their wax melted into grotesque shapes resembling faces frozen mid-scream. On the floor lay carvings, circles intertwined with jagged symbols, filled with something that looked disturbingly like dried blood. As Amelia's flashlight flickered, she noticed the faint sound of breathing that wasn't her own. Turning sharply, she caught a glimpse of movement behind the altar, a shadow shifting though no source of light could cast it. She whispered, "Who's there?" but only the echo of her voice replied, distorted, whispering back her name. The door slammed behind her with violent force, plunging the chapel into darkness. She ran toward the entrance, but the handle burned her palm as if heated from within. Then came the bell, a single toll that vibrated through her bones. Amelia froze. The stories had said that once the bell tolled, the offering had begun. Her breath quickened as she backed away, clutching her satchel, inside which lay an old diary belonging to a priest who had vanished here in 1893. She tore it open, scanning the faded ink. "Each year, one must stay to keep the rest alive," it read. "They come when the moon is broken." The moon outside now hung half hidden by clouds, its pale light like a wound in the sky. A shape began to rise from the altar, a figure cloaked in black, its face obscured by a mask resembling bone. It moved without sound, gliding toward her as the candles reignited one by one, their flames bending inward instead of outward. Amelia stumbled backward, shouting, "Stay away." But the figure merely lifted a skeletal hand and pointed to the symbols on the floor. "The cycle must not end," a hollow voice rasped. "You came as she did, before you. The blood binds the line." Her heart pounded as she realized the truth. Her grandmother had once been the offering. That was why she had known, why she had warned her. The figure gestured to a cracked mirror hanging crookedly on the wall. Within its reflection, Amelia saw not herself, but her grandmother kneeling before the altar, tears streaming as she whispered prayers. Behind her, the same hooded figure towered, pressing a dagger to her chest. Then, as the mirror shattered, Amelia felt something cold wrap around her neck. Invisible fingers tightened, forcing her toward the altar. She fought, clawing at the unseen grip, gasping for air. "Please," she choked, "I don't want this." The voice replied, "It is not want, it is need." Her flashlight rolled across the floor, its beam revealing dozens of old photographs pinned to the walls, each showing a person standing before the chapel, all bearing the same fearful eyes, all marked with the same symbol on their foreheads. Amelia's skin crawled as she felt a searing pain there now, a symbol burning into her flesh. The bells rang again, louder, faster, until the sound became unbearable. She screamed as her body convulsed, collapsing at the altar's base. When silence finally fell, the chapel returned to its stillness. The candles dimmed, and the air turned cold once more. Hours later, a wanderer passing through the woods noticed the chapel door ajar and stepped inside. He found only Amelia's satchel, open on the altar, with her flashlight flickering weakly beside it. The pages of the priest's diary now bore new words written in fresh ink. "She has been given." The line continues. The wanderer fled, but as he reached the road, he heard the faint tolling of the bell again. Somewhere deep within, Amelia's voice cried out from the darkness, begging for release. But no one would ever hear her again. The offering had claimed another, and the curse of Haver's End lived on, eternal, unseen, and waiting for the next soul foolish enough to seek its truth.